All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development 1100 C# programming class, I'm doing a series of beginning videos based off the textbook for the class, which is Murachs C# 8th edition. Now, I'm breaking away from the book, and in the last video, I created a database for you. So I created a database called Acme Widget and added 3 tables. As you can see, we added a departments table with 7 records, an employee table with 11 employees, and a state table with 49 different states. Still would like to figure out which one I'm missing, but that's okay. All right. So we've got all of that, and now we're going to actually write some queries. Now, I can do this in a lot of different ways. What I am going to do is I'm going to open up here, inside of here, I'm going to open up a new file. This old one that I have, I want to keep this, so if you want to take a look at that, of course you'll be able to. So I'm going to save this to my desktop right now, and I'm just going to call it Acme Widget DB Schema and records.txt. All right. And I'm going to leave that open just in case I need it. And now this one is going that I'm doing right now. I'm going to do a file save as, and I'm going to save this one as, not that, but I'm going to save this one as Acme Widget DB queries. All right, so these are the queries that I'm going to write. And I'm going to put comments in here so you know what I'm doing with each query. All right, so first, I'm going to show all records from, we'll just do it in alphabetic order, the department table. And the way we do that is we say select star from department. In fact, while we're doing this, I'm just going to go and write the first 3. So next we will select all the records from the employee table by a select star from employee. And then we will select star from the state table from select star from state. Now, a couple things about this. When you do a select query, that's what we're doing now. We're querying, we're asking the database. With a select, you cannot change anything. I want to say that again. You cannot change anything. It is a getter. So in other words, it's designed to show you information. This says, show me all the information from the department table. The next one says, show me all the information from the employee table. And the last one says, show me all the information from the state table. So let's run these so you can see them. We've already actually seen this output, but that's okay. So I'm going to go into SQL for each one of these, select star from department, go down and click the go button, and there are my departments. All right, so there's the first one. Then I'm going to go in and do the same thing with employee. You don't have to put the semicolon on the end when you are working inside of PHP My Admin like this. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that and put in select star from employee. And there's our 11 employees that we talked about previously. All right, and then finally, I'm going to do a select star from state. And you already know that I missed a state in here, so there's 49 instead of 50, but that's all right. And there's my states. Okay, so that shows the first 25 right there. So that's good. But remember, one thing about this is so far when we've looked at this, all right, so far when we've looked at this, we've gotten every record from the department table, every record from the employee table, and every record from the state table. All right, what if I don't want all that? Well, if you noticed when we did the department, so when we did the department table and we printed all that information out, So it'd be easier to do a state, but I'm just kind of trying to do it in order. We've got two departments. Where do we? That start with the letter P, programming and payroll. All right. So even though it's kind of a silly query, I'm going to show in here, show all departments whose name begins with P. All right. And this is not case sensitive. So I'm going to say select star from state. I'm putting this on multiple lines so you can see what's happening. So where, now I'm going to say, that's departments, not state, from department, and that's where department name like, and then I put in P followed by that. All right. And it does what you think. It says, show me from the department tables all departments that start with a P and have anything after them. Doesn't matter what. If we had a department that was named P, it would find it. We had one that was named Plus, it would find it. All right, but it has to start with P. So let's grab that one. Go back into here, and we will run that. And you'll notice that when we do, what do we get back? Programming and payroll. All right. Now we got programming and payroll, but they are not in alphabetic order because payroll comes before programming does. So let's write that same query. And we're going to say, show results in ascending alphabetic order. All right, and we only have to make one change here, and that is we're going to say order by department name Now we can say ASC, but since it's the default, well, we can leave it off. I'll put it in there just so you can see how you can use it. We should get the same exact information we just got, but instead of saying programming and payroll, it should say payroll with a 5 here and programming with a 4 here. So let's see if indeed that's the case. And you can see that it is. All right. So again, what we did here was we ran the same query, but we used an order by in here. All right. Now, when we look, if you remember, if I select star from department, just do it like that. That gives me everything. You've already seen that. Now, we've got programming and payroll. You already saw those were the only ones with a P. However, shipping also has the letter P in it. So if I wanted to see any department name with a P in it, just with a P in it, it didn't matter where it was, but as long as there was a P in it, let's write that query. Again, I know some of these queries are a little bit contrived. You wouldn't really probably be checking for stuff like this, but it still is okay. All right, so now select star from department where the name is like. Now we're going to say this. And that means any character, as long as there's a P in there. It can begin with a P, it can end with a P, it doesn't matter. But as long as it has a P in there, show us that. All right? So this is with that whose name has a P in it. All right, show results in ascending alphabetical. Let's show the results here in descending. So there you have to put in DESC. All right. So we should get now, remember we had shipping. All right. So shipping, It should show us shipping first, then programming, and then payroll, if I wrote this right. Shipping, programming, and payroll. All right. And I'm just trying to get you acclimated to some of the stuff that's in here. That's all. You'll notice if we look at this again, if I run this one again, all right, that we've got shipping, receiving, accounting, programming, 4 of these right here. These 4, they all begin or they all end with ing. So let's just check that, and then we'll go on to the next table. So this is show all departments whose name ends in ing. And we'll put the results here in ascending order. So select star where department name alike. Now it has to end with ing. So it's a %, ing. And we don't have to put ASC, but I'll put it in there for completeness. Okay, so let's see if it gives us those 4 departments. Whoop, didn't like something I wrote because I didn't put the S in the word select. Okay, try it again. And there they are, accounting, programming, receiving, and shipping in alphabetic order. If I wanted it based in order based on the code, I could do that as well. All right. So we'll say place them in ascending order by department code. All right, so I could say order by department code ascending. All right, so let's see how this differs. One, two, three, 4. So they're in order by code. All right, I think that's enough for this table. So let's go to the states table. These are all been select so far, which just allows us to see and view information, not to change it. We will change it in just a moment. But so far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 queries we've written. Let's go to the states table, and let's do something a little different here. So let's go to the states table. All right, and like I said, somehow I removed a state. I don't know how, but I did. And I'd like to say I did it on purpose to show you I didn't. All right, so let's look in here. See if I can figure out what state I missed, and we'll put that state into the table. Let me get rid of some of these. I've got way too many things open right now. All right, so here's the 50 states. So I'm going to cut the size of this way down. There we go. So let's look. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut. I spelled Delaware wrong, but that's okay. Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas. Looks like it's all right up to that point. Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York. That all looks okay. North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah. There it is. Vermont is missing. Somehow I've got Vermont. And that VT should have been for Vermont, not for Virginia. So it should have looked like this. It should have been VT Vermont and VA for Virginia. So let's change those. So right now this is incorrect. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to come in and I'm going to change the state code for Virginia, and this is not a great thing to do. So let's see, I'm trying to think of a better way of doing this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Virginia. That's it. I'm going to first remove Virginia from the state list, from the state table. All right, so there's different ways you can do this, but I'm going to say delete from states where state name equals Virginia. I think that'll work. We'll see. So delete from states, and I spelled delete wrong, great. Delete from states where state name equals Virginia. Let's fix it there too. All right. All right, so that's going to delete that. Says, do you really want to do this? Yes, I do. So I click OK. And it says table Acme widget states does not exist because it is not states, it is state. Again, it will ask me, it'll say, are you sure you want to do that? Yes. And now it's gone. How do I know? Well, if I say let's go in and select star from department where, let's do it from state, where state name, let's just say like we did before, like, we'll say anything with a V in it, like it'll find Nevada, etc., and that's okay. So we'll put in here all right, so what does that find? Finds Nevada, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, but notice Virginia is not there anymore. All right, Virginia is not there anymore. So let's add it back in. In fact, let's add Virginia and Vermont. All right, so I'll put add correct Virginia to state table. In fact, we did another query here, so let's put that in. Show all states in state table with a V in their name. Just put that over multiple lines. And that was select star from state where state name like that. All right, and again, since we removed Virginia, it found Nevada, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. So now we're going to add the correct Virginia to the state table. So I'm going to say insert into state. We did this before. Now values, and now it'll be correct. So we're going to put in here VA, Virginia. In fact, let's add the correct state to the state table, and we will also add Vermont to the state table. All right, so we now have Virginia, and we want to put in Vermont as well. All right, so insert into state values. That should work. Not showing me any errors. Run it, and it put them in. Now, the only thing that's bad, so to speak, about this, notice if I come back up here and I type in select star from states, all right, that'll work. But what you'll notice is if we go to the second page, it's not in alphabetic order anymore. Oh, it is. Well, that's interesting. It did put it in alphabetic order. All right. We could always show it in alphabetic order. All right. But it looks like it is in the correct order. So we now have in here Virginia, VA, and Vermont, VT. That's good. All right. We could run some of the same queries that we did before. So we could have all, we could ask for all states with new in their name, or all states that, let's do this. Let's find all states that end with a vowel. I know that's kind of a silly query, but I'm trying to show you things here. So, show all states in state table that end with a vowel, i.e. either A, E, I, O, or U. We're not going to consider Y to be a vowel. We could, and that would find like Kentucky, etc., but we're not going to do that. So I'm going to say select star from state where, so let's see. Now this is going to we're going to have to combine some stuff here. Where, let's see, state name like, can start with anything, but it has to end with an A, or I'm just going to copy this. An E, A, E, I, O, U. There we go. Oops. O or U. And remember, the stuff in here is not case sensitive. All right, so select star from state where the name either ends in an A or ends in an I, or ends in an A, or ends in an E, or ends in an I, or ends in an O, or ends in a U. Never ran this query before that I remember. Again, the good news, you can always check here. If anything is red, you really don't want to run the query. So if I left that off, I'd get an error. And if I put my mouse there, it says ending quote was expected. And it's even letting you see where. All right, so now it's fixed. Let's run this. And you can see we have several states that end with So there's our A's. There's some I's, another A. All right. And it looks like 31 of our 50 states. It looks like 31 of our 50 states end with a vowel. Now, let's do it the other way and see if we can find the 19 states. So we're going to show all states that don't end with a vowel. That do not end with a vowel. Move that over a little. Looks a little better. All right, so name, I think we can say not like this, not like this, not like this, not like this, and not like this. But all those ands that we, or ors that we used, must now become an and. All the conditions must be true. Previously, only one of the conditions had to be true. That's an or. Now, we want every one of these conditions to be true. If we wrote this correctly, if we did, this should come back with 19 states. For instance, let's see, Arkansas ends with an S. All right, that should be in the list. Michigan ends with an, Michigan ends with an N. Illinois ends with an S. Wisconsin ends with an N, etc. So let's see if this one runs. And again, if it doesn't run, it just means I put something in there syntactically incorrect. Again, nothing showing here. That's always a good sign. Let's see if we get 19 states. And if we look, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. New Jersey is number 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that worked. And there's all sorts of other stuff that we can do in here if we want to. Again, there's a bunch of other stuff that we can do. I showed you some starts with, some ends with, etc. Now, this is kind of different, but I'm going to try something because it just hit me like this. How about all states that in their name have a blank space? All right. So let's try that. So in other words, all states who have two or more words in their name. And how do I do that? I.e., name has a space in it. Never tried this. So let's select star from state again. And this is actually a pretty simple query. We're state name like, and we need this. We need a space in here, and then another % sign. That just means there's a space in there. That should work. I don't know any reason why it wouldn't, but let's see. Again, it's not showing me any errors, and there is a space in there. So let's see what it gives me. Well, you'll notice about a dozen, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of them. And each one of them are 2 words. We do not have any states that have 3 words in them, to my knowledge. But if we did, they would be shown there as well, as long as they had a space in their name. All right. Now, had I accidentally spelled, let's say, Missouri wrong, if I put in M space ISSOURI, it would find that too. So it's kind of, like I said, some of these queries that I'm running here, for lack of better words, are contrived queries. They aren't things you would typically run. I'm just doing this to show you, all right? And you'll notice that these are all in alphabetic order. No, they're not. In fact, I'm wrong. Yes, they are. They're in state code alphabetic order. If I wanted them in order by state name, I could add that. So, show results in ascending order by state name. All right, this is all correct. All I have to do is add an order by state name. I could put the ascending in there. There's really no reason to have to do that, but we could. So when we look in here right now, notice it's North Dakota, North Carolina, North Dakota, then New Hampshire. But when I run this again, no errors in here, always a good sign. Now it is New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico. All the news come before the Norths. All right. Okay, so let's do a few more queries here. And the few more that we'll do will be from the employee table. Then when we get done with that, I'm going to show you how to grab information from 2 different tables using a join, and then finally information from all 3 different tables, again using a join. All right. So when you look in here, what have we done? We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've done 15 queries so far. And we'll do about another 15 more. All right? Might be a few more than that, might be a few less. But here, let's go in and let's see. Let's show all employees that live in St. Louis. All right. Now, let's just do this. What we've been doing so far is we've been showing everything by saying select star. All right. So I'm going to just say here, show only first name, last name, city, and state. Just those. All right. So I'm only going to show those. So instead of saying select star, I'm going to say select first name, last name, city, and state from our employee table, where state, and that isn't state here, this is state code. This is where state, in fact, we wanted to do it where city is equal to, just to show you that it is case independent, we'll put that all in lowercase. Let's see if this works. Again, at any time I could have written something in here accidentally, put in the wrong syntax or the wrong something. So I'm not getting any errors, always a good sign. So you'll notice the 3 Flintstones and Mackenzie are all from St. Louis. Now, to make sure, because we've got 11 total, let's run the query again and find out everybody who is not. So we've got the 3 Flintstones and Mackenzie here. All right, so let's rewrite the query. All right, and it's now we want to show all employees that do not live in St. Louis. All right, so we're city, and I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this. The first is not equal to St. Louis. All right, and that should work. And I'm going to try it again right away and do it, but instead of using the exclamation point, use these two. I don't know if that's going to work when we get to using SQL Server or not, but we'll see. All right, so we've got this. This should, again, show us here the 7 employees that are not these 4. Again, no errors, always a good sign. And there's the other 7. If you look at each one of their cities, you'll notice that none of them are St. Louis. All right, let's try running the other one as well to make sure that that one works as well. All right. Again, we've got now the less than followed by the greater than, and we should get the same 7 records, and we do. Now, we could go and we could put these in alphabetic order. Let's do that. When you put things and you sort, you can sort by more than one field. All right, what do I mean? Well, I'm going to run this same query that I just showed you. All right, and I'm going to add onto this sort results by city ascending, then last name ascending, then first name descending. I'm just making this stuff up. All right, so we've got where city not equal to St. Louis, and then we want to do an order by, order by. So first we want city in ascending order, so order by city, and then we want by last name in ascending order. Then we want by first name, and for whatever reason, in descending order. And I like to put my keywords all in caps. Let's see if it finds this. We're going to get the same results if I wrote the query correctly as we got before. Just the order in which you see these 7 records is going to be different because we've added additional criteria. Again, it's not showing me any errors. So if we click go, you'll notice O'Fallon, then St. Charles, then St. Peter's, then our Wentzvilles. And with our Wentzvilles, Rubble, Rubble, Rubble come before Scott, and we've got Betty, Barney, and Bam Bam. So these are in descending order. So far it's so good. I mean, everything's been working, and that's always a good sign. All right. And again, there's a lot of different stuff that we could do in here. You all know that. I could check for something that has ST in it. All right, it would find St. Charles, it would find St. Peter's, it would find St. Louis, etc. I could find, all the people with a last name of Rubble, or all of the people whose first name starts with a B, etc. So there's a lot of different things that we could conceivably put in here. Let's do a couple things, and I want to show you 2 ways, and I'm going to have to go back to the book to get the right syntax. But what I want to do is I want to combine information from 2 of the tables. Okay? So in other words, I don't want Mo in here. I want this to say Missouri. Okay? So we were going to do our first join in here. Do a join to show the following info. I'm going to just grab all of this. Now I want all employees. Show all employees. First name, last name, city, and instead of state code, we want state name. All right, we're not going to do any sorting on here because I just want you to be able to see everything. Now, in order to do this, we've got to combine information from two different tables. And I'm going to show you two ways of doing it. And I'm going to first show you, for lack of better words, kind of the harder way of doing it. And then we'll look at and get it progressively easier. All right. So let's see. We've got this first name, last name, city, and state name. All right. So one way we can do this is like this. We can say select. I'm going to do what's called a fully qualified query right now. What that means is before each one of these names, each one, I'm going to put the name of the table it's coming from. So employee dot first name, employee dot last name, employee dot city, and state dot state name. Now, since I'm using two different tables, I have to let the system know that. So from employee, all right, and state. Now, this is wrong. This query right now is incomplete. All right. But I'm going to get what's going to be called a Cartesian product. Joined. I'm going to get something like, let's see, there's 11 employees and there's 50 states. I should get 550 records back. 11 times 50. This is wrong. This is wrong. Should get back 550 records, not 660, Jeff. 550 records. All right, because we're doing incorrectly a Cartesian product join. Let's see if that's indeed what happens. The system is happy as heck to give me back 550 records. Has no problem with that. There's no errors. We run it. I think I clicked go. Let's see. Nope, I didn't. So 550 records. It's showing me every combination. So Wentzville, Alaska, everybody is in Alaska, then everybody's in Alabama, etc. The reason that that's wrong is we didn't join these tables. So we asked for every combination. So let's fix this. And I'm first going to show you it. Let's see. I'm going to, yeah, okay. This is really a non-join because I really didn't do a join. So now I'm going to do a join, but I'm going to do a join using the old-fashioned way, the way I learned to do this. So state name should be, this is correct. Should bring back 11 records if I did it right. So I'm selecting these from these two tables, but I have to say where and what field do they have in common, where employee dot state code equals state dot state code. This should work and should bring me back 11 records. All right. I don't want that. Notice it did bring me back the state name. So I did get information from two tables. So technically it was a join. It was a wrong join, but it was a join. So where I put in there non-join, I'm going to change that back to join. All right, again, no errors are shown in here. Let's hope we get 11 records back. And there they are. And you'll notice that now for each employee, we have just their first name, last name, city, and now we have their state name. So we did successfully join correctly those two tables. So really this is a join. All right. And I'm going to put in here using older syntax. All right. And I'm going to go right below it and try to do it using the newer syntax. All right. So you don't do it like this anymore. You say select this. Let's see, from these two. I'll have to look in the book. I apologize for that, but let's see. Okay. Got to look where they talked about joins in here. So I just want to use the right syntax. Here we go. So that's it. So from the first one, inner join the second one on. So let's see if I can do that, if I'm good enough. From employee, inner join this on, and what am I missing? I think that's correct. So this is the newer syntax. I think mine actually reads better, but this is supposed to actually execute a little bit faster. Again, we should get back 11 records if I didn't write anything incorrectly in my query. I'm not getting any errors. That's always a good sign. And again, I've got my names. All right, let's do two more queries here. But before we do, what we're going to do is we're going to add to this another table. So we're going to have the first name, the last name, the city, the state name, and we're also going to put the department. All right, then we'll pretty these up a little bit, and then we'll call that a wrap, so to speak. Okay, so before we do this, a couple things. First of all, I'm just going to grab the one that I've got right here. And I'm going to put it down below. Okay, we actually can come in here. We can come in here. First name only exists in the employee table, so we really don't need it. Last name only exists in the employee table, so we don't need it. All right. City only exists in the employee table, so we don't need it. State name exists in both tables. So this would work just fine if we did this. All right. But what if we wanted to do it and make it a little bit nicer so we knew what tables? But employee is a lot to type. So we could come in here and do this. I'm going to say this, E dot first name, E dot last name, E dot city, S dot state name. From employee, E, join state, S. Now what I've done, and this will be on, E dot state code equal S dot state code. I have written aliases. So everywhere you've got the word employee, it's now been replaced with an E. Everywhere we had state, this will be wrong. All right. Everywhere we had state previously, all right, we have S. We're not listing the table name. Okay. So this is the newer syntax and aliasing. All right. And again, let's see if I made any mistakes, because knowing me, I very well could have. Again, it's not showing me any errors, always a good sign. And we're getting our same 11 back. Okay. All right, a couple more things, and then we're going to put this one to rest. I'm going to do the same query, but use newer syntax and aliasing. Also, rename the columns. Rename the column names. All right. So I'm going to really stretch this out so you can see everything here. I'm going to change this to first name. I'm going to change this one to last name. Notice what I'm doing now is I'm adding a space between first and last. And I'm a little weird this way, but I'm just lining things up. So last name. All right. Now, a couple things. First, let's run it, see if it works. See if I now have a space between first and name. Between that, this didn't change, but another space there. Let's see if I screwed it up or if everything works. So you can see how it's got the actual field name. Last underscore name, first underscore name, state underscore name. Again, no errors showing. And you can see we have now successfully renamed our columns. Now, two things about this. First of all, it is legit, and some people like doing it, is to put the word as in there. It's not mandatory, but you'll notice that putting as in there, I should get the same results. I'm not even going to resave this as two different queries because it's the same thing. All I'm doing is I'm just putting the word as in there. You can see them right there. And I should get the exact same results. Okay. The other thing is, just so you're aware of it, I only need to put things in quotes if there's a space in there. So really, city was not needed. But I could change that, for example, to city name. All right. Not that that makes it any better or any worse, but it's just another thing that we could do in there. So if you see that one, let me grab the query one more time here. And run it again. And now what the only difference is you're going to see in here is state or city name instead of just city. Okay. No biggie one way or the other. We can still run order bys. We can still do a whole bunch of different stuff in here. All right. Okay. Let's do one more join, and let's add to this the department that the person worked for. We're going to add the department that the person worked for. All right. And again, we'll do this not with a Cartesian join like this, but we'll do it with a join, and we'll right away just go in and do the aliasing. All right. So I'm going to do the newer one here. And I'm going to do the older one here. So let me move this one down, and I'll put that one in here. All right, so I'm going to do a join. I'm going to use the older syntax, and I'm going to show the employee's first name, last name, city, state name, and department name. And if this is correct, we should get back 11 records. Again, I'm using the older syntax, and I'm using aliasing. All right. So I want the first name, the last name, the state name, and I also want their department name. So I'm going to say D dot department name. All right. Now I want that from, and I'm not going to do this inner join right now. We'll do this in a bit. So I'm going to say employee E, state S, department D, and I've got to put a where in here. So where E dot state code equals S dot state code, and E dot department code equals D dot department code. So I'm now joining three tables. Before, when I joined two tables, all right, I'm always going to have, since I'm joining two tables, there's one join. Since I'm joining three tables now, city, state, and department, I have two things I'm joining on. Let's see, first of all, if I wrote this correctly or not. So we've got all 11 of our employees, but now they're all in there by department name. All right. And the order in which these were put in is just the order I put them in the database. If I wanted to do that by department, I could do that as well. All right. In fact, let's see if I can do that. All right. I'm going to try doing something I haven't shown you, but before I do, let's go back and rewrite this again using the newer syntax. All right. So city, state name, let me get back this. So we should get back. So I'm going to use the newer syntax and aliasing. So from employee E, inner join this on this. And I think, oh, I hate doing these. Inner join. Oh, I hate doing joins on multiple tables. So I always forget the right syntax. From employee E, inner join state S on this equal this. Inner join, this could be the wrong syntax. I don't know. Department D on, just like we did before. Like I said, if I get an error here, it's because I put stuff in the wrong order. So this very well may fail. Now the good news is it's not showing me anything wrong here, but if I have it listed wrong, I'm going to get goofy results. Oh, looks like it worked. My goodness. Oh, I didn't get my last one though. I didn't tell it on here. There we go. Let me go back. So we've got first name, last name, city, state, D dot department name. We didn't put that in there. That was on me. So let's look at that. And there's our department name. It all worked. All right, I actually did a multi-table query with more than two, and I didn't screw up the syntax, which is very unlike me. All right, so let's do one more big thing in here, and then we are going to wrap this up. All right, and that is, I want to go back to this right here. I want to go back to my employees, and I want to add another field, because right now I'm not doing anything I'm not doing anything at all with numeric fields except that field. That's the only number field I have, which is kind of silly. So I want to go and change my employee table. I want to alter it so that I could add a new field called salary. All right. So far, what we've looked at in here, I want to mention this to you. We've come in here and we've looked at select statements. And what select does, it lets you view but not change data. All right. We also did a delete, which lets you remove existing data. What we didn't do is an update, which we're going to do in a minute, that lets you change existing data. All right. And we did inserts, which allows you to, it lets you add new data. All right. So we have looked at this. These things collectively, the select, the delete, the update, and the insert, these commands collectively are known as data manipulation language commands. And that means they're DML commands. All right, we have not yet looked at update. We will in just a moment. All right, there are also some that are called data definition language, or DDL commands. The key word here in this, you can say, well, it's in both of them, yeah, but this works on the data. These three commands, I'm going to give them to you right now. They are create, alter, and drop. These three let you work on the schema of a table. So these work on the data. They allow you to manipulate the data. These allow you, with definition, to manipulate the schema. All right. This will again allow you to add, I'm going to just say add schema. It could be, that. This would be update schema. And this will allow you to delete schema. Now I'm being very general here in my comments. All right, you've seen selects, you've seen deletes. Let's do an update and we'll go and look at these as well. All right, but we've done inserts as well. So let's look at updates, okay? All right. Now, I'm just going to I'll pick me. So if I need somebody to pick on, I'll pick me. All right, so there's me. So let's just do this. I'm going to go back again, and you've seen this before, but I'm going to select star from employee, but I'm going to say here where, and I'm number 1, I believe, where employee ID equal 1. That should be me. And there I am. Okay. Now we're going to pretend for just a minute I actually put in all correct information. But the other building that we have in Wentzville is 755 North Parr Road. So I'm going to update my address. All right. I'm going to update my address from 751 North Parr Road to 755 North Parr Road. So I'm going to update my address. So let's see how we do that. In fact, I wanted to do this before, so I wanted to see how many we did here. I imagine it's around 25, but I don't know. And that's what I planned on doing, would be around 25 to 30 of these. And again, I'm not asking for pats on the back or anything, but I'm just amazed that this has worked as well as it has. I haven't done this for a while. I didn't go back and reread anything first. And the fact that I was able to put in as many queries as I was without screwing it up is good. So you didn't have to watch me screw up. So we've done 26 of these so far. Not too bad. All right, let's do an update. So I'm going to put in here update Jeff Scott's address from 751 North Parr Road to 755 North Parr Road. All right. Now there's a lot of ways I can do this. All right. But I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to say update update employee set address equal 755 North Parr Road. Now, if I did it like that, that would set all 11 addresses to 755 North Parr Road. We don't want to do that. I could do it, since I'm the only one who's here, I could say where address is equal to 751 North Parr Road. That would work just fine. But that's not the recommended way of doing it. The recommended way of doing it, I mean, couldn't I also do this? I could say where first name equals Jeff and last name equals Scott. And the answer is yes, I could do it like that too. But what if I had more than one Jeff Scott and only one of them needed to be changed? So what's recommended here is that you find out what their primary key is, which is what? It's the ID, right? And what did we call that? I don't remember. Employee ID. That's the recommended way of updating it. And then I'm going to run query to guarantee update worked. So I'm just going to say select star from employee where employee ID equal 1. So let's see if this works. And all it's going to do is, if it works, it'll probably say something like 1 record. 1 record affected. All right, now I'm going to run the other query and see if my address changed from 71 North Bar Road to 755 North Bar Road. I just updated it to this. So let's run the query and see if indeed that worked. And I'm now at 755 North Bar Road. So what I have shown you in the amount of time we've been working on this, going back to this, is I have shown you all of the data manipulation commands. All right. Now we want to quickly alter the table. We want to alter the table and we want to add, let's see where I am in time. Oh, I'm well over an hour. That's not good. Let me stop here and I'll make one little, it'll be a smaller little lesson. We'll come back to that in just a couple minutes then. Sorry.